All right, so today we want to talk about how to manage loose skin. That's often a challenge that most people have during their weight loss journey, especially if they're coming from a certain amount of weight and then they have that loose skin kind of effect, right? You see people where they was an enormous amount of weight before, and then when they drop the weight, they have a lot of loose skin. So we're gonna talk about that and how we can try our best to prevent that. All right. So let's get right into it. So first and foremost, loose skin isn't fat. It's not extra weight you're still carrying around, right? And two, we'll talk this subject too, because I don't want to see you guys on Dr. Navorkian and everything like that. But matter of fact, that's a good example because those are people who actually that's why they go to see him. Once they lose the weight, the extra skin that they have to get removed to balance out their body, right? So it's really skin that hasn't stretched to accommodate the larger body, and it hasn't really rebounded or got back to its original size. So keep in mind that your skin has three layers, right? And the middle one, which is the dermis, is where the elastin and collagen live, right? So it's two proteins that's there for the snapback. Especially we use that with pregnant women, but that's what actually gives your skin the rebound or the snapback that we so often call it. All right. But the problem is with adults, sometimes the elastin doesn't regenerate well. All right. So because it's overstretched past a certain point and it doesn't bounce back. So think of like a a rubber band. You keep stressing it, stretching it, stretching it. At some point, it either pops, but we're not talking about in that case. It won't get tight how it used to be when you first got it in its original position, so to speak, right? So we're going to talk about why it happens like that, right? And one, you have to definitely um, regulate your expectations on your fitness journey as well. All right, when you're coming from a weight loss. All right. So one of them you have to consider, or a factor that you have to consider, is your age, right? Because collagen production drops steadily starting in your mid 20s, and their lasting quality declines also. All right. So comparing a 25-year-old to a 55-year-old losing 80 pounds, they're not going to look the same or have the same skin outcome. So you have to keep that in mind, right? And it's really not a fair comparison to yourself. That's why they say comparison is a thief of joy, right? As my man told me once, when you start comparing, that's when you start losing, right? Another factor or variable is genetics. Yes, genetics play a part in this as well, because some people's skin adjusts more has is more elastic than others. So that plays a part as well. All right, because people are skin are more flexible. Even some people like scar differently. Like you see people with keloid skin, and they have the same scar as someone who doesn't, for example, and they won't have that same kind of impression with the mark that's left. All right. Also, how much weight you gained and for how long matters. You actually had that weight. Also, because the skin has been stretched for too long, and damage it can become damaged over the years in your lifetime because the collagen structure, right, which is independent of your weight. All right. So none of these things you can train around. So always keep that in mind because I definitely don't want you guys to think like the end is near because you have loose skin. All right. There's nothing really to be ashamed of either. This is part of the game that just happens and there's always ways around it. All right. So um now and during your journey as well, you always want to focus on what you can control. All right. Like I said, loose skin is hit or miss, right? So also this is for trainers. Like I said, I'm a trainer first, always. So if a client brings up skin concerns before a cut, you know, this is a conversation that you have with them before they begin their journey because you want to set early expectations based on their age, how long they've been carrying the weight and their starting point, right? So it definitely prevents a lot of disappointment and self-blame in the months to come, all right? And also this helps you one no- one it helps you to become more empathetic, but also it builds trust because like, okay, they're not just selling me XYZ just to get my money. you know, it's really show you that you care about them. You know what I mean? And there's certain things you can't guarantee during this journey. All right. So, of course, now we got that out the way. Of course, I'm gonna give you the good news, the other side of the coin, right? And these are the things that you can control. And that's how I believe in life. Only focus on the things that you can control, right? So, one, which is very important, I think, that also leads to the loose skin is because it's the rate of loss, right? And that's that's the biggest controllable factor that you have. So losing weight slowly actually gives your skin time to gradually adapt and give collagen remodeling a chance to keep pace, right? Aggressive weight loss, like you see with Dr. Navorkian, shout out to him. What he does is give them such a great cut, obviously because of circumstances too, because he has to prep them for surgery in a certain amount of time. They drop so much the skin starts to sag a lot, you know, and you see that as well too, because most of these people during a fitness journey, they will start doing cardio a lot instead of strength training, right? I heard someone say something the other day where cardio make you lose the weight, strength training helps you shape the way you look. All right, so keep that in mind. All right. So always take the slower approach. It is not easier, but it is protective, right? Like I just mentioned moments ago, resistance training, because building and maintaining muscle underneath the skin does two things. It fills up the space. It fills up space that the skin might otherwise sag into, and there's other evidence that resistance training supports better body composition outcomes as well for skin retraction compared to weight loss through diet alone. All right. Also, protein intake. You definitely need protein because not also it builds muscles, it also support collagen synthesis, right? And collagen is a protein by itself, you know, because it helps build and rebuild connective tissue. So the question may ask, should I take collagen? If you want to, yeah. I mean, for healthier skin, yeah. But would it help with this in particular? I really don't know, but I would assume so. So, you know, you can do some more research on that, but you could take it for your overall health. I wouldn't say there's anything against it as well, because it does help in repairing your skin. So you have nothing to lose at this point. Also, hydration and skincare. Water is definitely a underrated tool during your fitness journey. I think a lot of people do not drink enough water. As you can see here, I don't play. I have my chug. I carry it with me. Sometimes I drink two of those, right? But definitely water and a healthy skincare routine. Wash your face with soap and water, y'all. Oh man, but having hydrated skin is definitely makes the skin more pliable, right? And staying hydrated supports overall skin health during the process. And another thing too, which is a non-negotiable, you gotta stop smoking, put down the tobacco, the weed, whatever, vaping, all that shit. Cut it out. Stop smoking. All right, because what it does, it accelerates the the breakdown of collagen, and you don't want that. We just spoke about why collagen is important to uh, healthy skin maintenance. All right, with that. So, you know, over here, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys because I want y'all to win. So, this is part of um the journey where you have to be truthful to yourself as well and don't be discouraged. And I know sometimes in this day and age, we would want to always try to look for a shortcut. Sometimes we may take filler creams and all these supplements, these topical treatments to try to help, but sometimes it's not really the best method because they're really just wasting your money. You know, like skin tightening creams and all that, products like that. You know, so keep that in mind as well. You know, they're not really scam, but for the amount of work that it needs to be done, you're really wasting your money. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, you probably want to do surgery if it's past a certain amount of time, right? Because if the skin doesn't retract, give it about a 6 to 12 month waiting period, post loss kind of thing. Then you could begin thinking about surgical skin removal, right? Because that's the only reliable option after that, and it's effective. That's when you go see Dr. Navorkian, someone like that. But you get the drift, right? That's probably the only surgery personally that I would recommend, like without hesitation, to clients. You know, everything else I'm like, but that one, because you've done the work, course, you want to look a little bit better, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So definitely skin removal to help it shape out your body more to have that kind of look. I'm all for it. But give yourself time and be patient with yourself in the process as well. All right. And another thing, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Believe you me, your body is thanking you because you could have been had tight skin being overweight with high blood pressure, diabetes, all these other health ailments. So give yourself a round of applause to even making the effort and investing in yourself. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. All right. And if you're in mid transformation and you worry about loose skin, you know, here's the takeaway from this message: just focus on what you can control. Your diet, the rate of your loss of weight, your resistance training, non-smoking, and let go of everything else. You know what I mean? And let everything take care of itself. All right. And if you have been through a certain this type of experience, put it in the comments, and maybe someone could benefit from your story as well. All right. So this is Alchemy Fitness signing off, where we transfer you from lead to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Till next time, peace.